Hello, I'm Sarah Ann Shockley, and this is the Pain Companion, chapter by chapter. Part 3, Meditative Approaches to Pain. Dear Pain, I really want you to go away. You've been an unwelcome guest in my life for too long. I'm hoping that if I try to understand you, you will be satisfied and leave. But the truth is, I really don't want to know you. I don't want to have to know you. You're like an unwelcome stranger who shows up at my house needing a meal. I make him a sandwich and want to send him on his way, but he won't leave. He's smelly and strange. His disheveled appearance is alarming. He mumbles to himself, and I realize he's crazy and unreachable, and I don't want to have to touch him. I don't want to have to know him, and I certainly don't want him to touch me. I know I'm supposed to feel differently, to have compassion, but I don't want to have to do more. I'm praying he doesn't sit on the couch, and could he just take $20 and leave? You are like that stranger, Pain. I want the minimum interaction with you so you will be satisfied and go away. In the Western allopathic medical world, physical pain is treated almost entirely from a material standpoint. In our highly technological and sometimes formulaic culture, we think we will fix our pains if we can just land on the right approach from a confusing and often contradictory variety of programs, pharmaceuticals, cures, and techniques. Pop these pills, take this yoga class, read this book, start eating this, stop eating that, get off the couch, relax more, get out more. We tend to treat pain solely with physically based remedies or to mask it with chemical inhibitors. Our doctor usually asks us where and how it hurts, and we are encouraged to describe the pain only as it is manifesting in the body. It is a rare Western-trained doctor who asks the patients how they feel about the pain emotionally, what's going on in their lives just before the onset of pain, or a myriad of other inquiries into the patient's emotional, psychological, and spiritual state of being. One of the reasons that we usually don't treat physical pain with anything more than physical remedies is that, most obviously, it is experienced in and through the body. Physical pain is so overwhelming for the sufferer that it appears to point only to itself. This seems logical. Yet, while we do live in a physical body, we also consist of a mind and emotions, and many believe we have a spirit or soul as well. Despite the lack of clear boundaries between these aspects of the self, we have developed different therapeutic approaches, models, and remedies for each, as if each could be addressed uniquely and apart from its impact or reliance on the others. Consequently, the prevailing medical language refers to the body as a thing, an object, an impersonal lump of flesh. Its physicality is somehow unrelated to the parts of us we can't see, but which we may, nevertheless, consider the essence of who we really are. The body is inexplicably but fundamentally treated as separate from the inner us. Similarly, we talk about our conditions, our pain, and the organs and systems of our bodies as if each had a life of its own as a separate entity. We name our conditions and refer to them by those names, as if we've been invaded by an outside force that remains distinct and separate, even though it is completely interwoven with our bodies, our thoughts, and our feelings. Our condition literally lives in us and with us, yet we speak of it as something that could be pointed to and cataloged or extracted. Although much has been written in recent years about mind-body-spirit integration, particularly in connection with the rising popularity of traditional Asian medicine and acupuncture, the Western medical approach is only beginning to adopt the concept that treatments need to include and address the whole person. Ultimately, therefore, while hugely beneficial in many cases, our scientific approach to life and to health has taught us to compartmentalize our bodies, our lives, ourselves, and our pain. Meanwhile, a growing number of people are not finding relief from pain medications or medical treatments of any kind, and doctors are finding a growing number of painful conditions such as fibromyalgia and thoracic outlet syndrome that are difficult to diagnose clearly or treat successfully. Additionally, we have been conditioned by our culture to keep going no matter what. We are not taught to listen to the body or to our emotions and feeling states as they relate to the body, and certainly not to listen to or honor pain. We override the body's signals routinely by working too many long days, by overeating or undereating, and by using various substances to feel energized when we're exhausted or to calm down when we're hyper. In a society driven by schedules and rigid work and educational structures, it's probably a natural consequence that we would develop a medical system that makes getting back on track as soon as possible one of its top priorities. Nothing seems to be wrong with that on the surface, but what if by doing that, we are sidestepping a significant purpose within the process of healing? What might be the consequences of ignoring the body's signals, its method of communication? What if instead of killing or utterly eradicating pain with pharmaceuticals, we used medications primarily to reduce pain to a manageable level so that we can still hear what the body means to tell us in the language of pain? By not honoring the body's inner timetable and how it relates to our whole self, we might be derailing a deeper meaning held within the pain. If so, then it is possible that this inner purpose unfolds only when we respect it and give it the time and attention it seems to be asking for. Chapter 15, The Body Made Wrong. When I was unable to heal after a long period of time, I became frustrated and distressed. I hated the situation I was in, and I worried that people might think I wasn't trying hard enough to recover since there was no discernible improvement. In fact, things seemed to keep getting worse. I needed my body to respond. I needed it to mend. It was betraying me. Deep down, though, a nagging feeling suggested that somehow I might be betraying my body. After months and months of pushing toward healing with no positive results, I had to wonder how I could create true health if I was constantly peeved and frustrated with myself, my body, and the pain in my body. During my long days with nothing to do, I started to wonder how I could better understand the genuine needs of not only of my body, but of my emotions, mind, and spirit. My physical symptoms and condition were intrinsically interwoven, not only with one another, but with my current experience of myself and of life. None of them could be completely separated out. Till then, I had been reacting against pain and attempting to push it out of me. For the most part, I felt abandoned by life and by whatever divine force there was in the universe. I felt disconnected from most of my friends. Pain was the strongest reality and the most insistent presence in my life. Why couldn't I make it go away? What good could its continued presence possibly be doing? I thought that I had simply had to find the right healing modality, the right doctor, the right therapist, or the right regimen. But what did I really know about how the body heals? What was it trying to communicate through the pain? In how many different ways was I simply refusing to acknowledge its messages? When I looked at the situation from a different perspective, however, it seemed to me that my body wasn't just responding with pain, it was also experiencing it. My body was suffering the pain with me. We were in it together. While it sometimes felt like it was working against me because it was producing the pain, my body was actually doing its utter best to heal and ultimately help me feel better. Understanding that my body was not the enemy, I also came to realize that pain was not the enemy either. The sensation of pain, while unpleasant to the extreme, was actually the body's signal that it was making every effort to heal. My body was my only ticket to planet Earth, and if I wanted to stick around, I would have to discover what it required to make it well and whole again. One of the initial movements toward healing my body then was to change my attitude toward it and toward its pain messages. I thought I was giving pain the attention it truly deserved by trying to get rid of it. That's what you do with pain. You try to end it. I wasn't tuning into the pain itself as itself, which seemed like a very bad idea. Turning toward pain in an attempt to notice it more fully seemed like it would only make things worse. Dear pain, despite your jarring quality, I try to relax, take deep breaths. The deeper the breath, the more it hurts. I adjust back to shallower breaths. Trying to hold my spine erect in meditation posture annoys you to no end, and you soon begin shooting long darts into my neck that twang mercilessly and resonate fully before subsiding and making way for the next. This is obviously not working. So I stop. I listen. Perhaps if I give you the attention you deserve, you will be satisfied for a while and give me some peace. My hope is that giving you respectful attention will lead to healing. If you are allowed to have your say to a truly attentive audience, me, you will have fulfilled your purpose, satisfied your needs to be seen and heard, and like a little kid to whom the adult finally leans over and gives their undivided attention, you will be satisfied and leave me alone. I sit and listen, your insistent sounds amplified by my focus, but it seems I do not speak your language. I ask you questions about who you might be, what you might represent, but you just blare atonally. Like a very nasty gremlin, you repay my vigilance with arrows and missiles and insults. I cannot distinguish any vocabulary that I recognize. Chapter 16, Finding a New Approach. After years of unsuccessful efforts to diminish, expel, eradicate, and overcome the pain in my body, I wondered if the pain sensations might be a voice for not only the body, but other levels of the self as well. I understood that while pain felt strong and overbearing, and it absolutely dominated my attention, it was not necessarily an adversarial power. It was a reaction. Pain accompanied me in a most unpleasant manner, but it was a signal to be received and decoded, not a foe to be fought and annihilated. Allowing its space to express itself seemed counterproductive. Still, I began to wonder what could happen if I began to respect and honor my pain. While it seemed to be the demanding dictator of my life because it was so loud and insistent, I understood that it was also a messenger. It was the effect of something. It signaled, it warned, it annoyed, but that was part of its purpose. Pain was fulfilling its mission. I finally realized that I wasn't going to be able to even start the process of true healing until I had achieved a deeper level of trust with the inner wisdom that was running my physical system. It seemed that it had a roadmap to health in its own language that I wasn't privy to or hadn't bothered to learn. It occurred to me that I might even be delaying my recovery and prolonging my time in pain by trying to hurry things along at my own preferred pace. What if I needed to back down, relax, enter a state of calm, and learn to listen to the innate wisdom of my body and inner self through the code expressed as pain? What if I did something radical and sort of uncovered my ears and eyes and really tried to see and hear what this pain in my body was trying to say to me, instead of constantly attempting to overcome it, close it down, and basically shut it up? What possibilities for healing might open up if I began to relate to it as part of an interconnected system, me, the whole me, and began to tune into the ways it was communicating? How then could I find a way to be in a different relationship with pain so that I was no longer utterly beholden to it, but without treating it as an adversary? I asked myself, if pain were my voice, what might I be trying to tell myself? Since nothing I was doing to stop it was working, I decided to open up to the possibility of healing through meeting pain where and how it wanted to be met. What this meant, I wasn't exactly sure, but it occurred to me that the degree to which I could listen to and interact positively with the pain that was living in my body might be the degree to which I could heal. It goes against our current ideas of health to let pain be felt fully and to respond to it as an agent of healing. Yet, despite our usual rejection of anything painful, I felt that maybe there was untapped wisdom to be found within the experience of pain itself. Perhaps the manifestation of the profoundest healing included an understanding that pain sensations may be more than just a physical reaction. They may include an expression of deeper levels of the self as well. The answer for me lay in finding a way to understand pain from a more holistic perspective and to see it from a positive standpoint. This meant seeing myself not as a helpless victim, but as someone on a journey. It meant looking at pain as a signpost and a guide, not a problem to be overcome. It meant letting go of the mentality that I was at the mercy of my condition and my circumstances. Instead of seeing pain as an invader and a curse, I could imagine it as part of something that was trying to heal itself in my life and somehow through my life, an expression of something that wanted to make me whole.